Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Sports Report. On tonight's programme, we'll catch up with the Gibraltar Volleyball Association, who held their annual beach tournament on Sunday. Richard also speaks to Donovan Gallier about Gibraltar Scorpions' European adventure in UEFA Futsal Preliminary competition last week. And I'll be speaking to Gibraltar Sports and Leisure CEO Joe Hernandez, who retired last week, about his time at the forefront of local sports administration, which spans over 40 years. We start, however, with a look ahead to Gibraltar's first UEFA 2014 qualifier, which takes place on Sunday against Poland. Alan Buller and his squad assembled in front of the airport early on Monday for the trip, where I caught up with Gibraltar's national manager. I began by asking Alan for his thoughts and feelings ahead of yet another piece of history being made.
Yeah, the waiting's nearly over, and it's been a very, very long wait for Gibraltar, but finally we are here. We're going into the qualifiers, our first match, just over 7 days' time. I'm feeling very confident in the sense that the lads have got a really, really good bunch of lads, working very hard. I've got a very good backroom staff with me, so we're going to do our best and work really hard to get a result.
There are no dress rehearsals, as was alluded to in one of your press conferences. No dress rehearsals. Every match is taken on its own merits. This is Poland. What can you tell us about the way you're going to shape up for the game?
Yeah, it is Poland. And obviously you've seen the lineup, best players that Polish can get at the moment, except for the captain that unfortunately is out injured. Like I've said many times, a national manager has to have plan A, B and C. Us being a small nation, we need to have plan D, E and F in place. And until I get there, although I know the training sessions that we're going to have and how we're going to face Poland, today when we get there, we'll have a fitness test. I'll see where the players are, I'll see how they are, and from there I take it whether I go into plan A, plan B or plan C.
If we look at the Gibraltar squad, there's a bit of chopping and changing. Finally happy with the 23 that you are taking over?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy, and I'm glad the choice I have at the moment. And yeah, they're all very hard workers. They're all wanting to give it their best, and yeah, very, very happy with the squad.
Been disappointed that there's been no local league for the lads to actually have games under their belts going into this. I mean, some of them will have played one, they've played some friendlies, but no games. But you've got a week to build to the match.
Yeah, you always want players to be match fit, and that's reality. We have the UK-based players that some of them have got 5, 6, 7 matches already, official matches under the belt, plus about 10 friendlies. So that's what you expect. And you've got the Polish guys. You can have a look at how many games they've had already. So you always expect that, but you just got to put up with it and just carry on and get them match fit as best as I can. And there's nothing we can do. The league hasn't started for whatever reason, and we'll just get on with it.
Could it work as a positive in your favour, having 7 days with the boys before they actually run on the pitch? You can mould them into what you really want.
Well, this is the international week, as UEFA call it. So it gives all the nations now the possibility to stay with the players the whole of the week. Some nations have got 2 matches this week. Others, like us, we've only got 1. Not because we wanted to. We tried and asked other nations for a friendly, but no one came forward. So it's not that I'm doing something different to anyone else. Everyone else is getting the players at the same time. But yeah, it gives me that extra edge, to really prepare them. But when the double headers come, I get them 3 days, 4 days prior to a match, and that's it. I won't have them a whole week like this. So it's only in the single headers, whenever we don't have a friendly in between. But to be the first match, yeah, it's quite good to have them a full week.
What would be a positive response? What would be a positive result for this game?
Many people might say different scenarios. I've set my goals. Everyone knows my goals. It's the playoffs. We need at least a point from this game.
And if we look across, has the reality sunk in that you're now going off to Portugal to play the game against Poland? we've got to forget the Team 54. We've just got to get behind Gibraltar as a nation playing football at the top level in Europe.
I don't think it's actually kicked in as much as we would have liked. You know, there's many of us that it has kicked in. Others are still not seeing reality. You know, not seeing what this is about, what scenario we're going to be playing. But you know, you're right in saying forget Team 54. This is Gibraltar now. You know, and we have to perform. In order to perform, we need the nation behind us as well. And not only that, it's vital that people realise how close the matches are. We've got this one, then we've got a massive one against Ireland over there. I would like our fans, you know, some of them do, but I would like all of them to become like the Irish fans, that no matter what score, they support the players 100%. Because that's the way to go forward. That's the way for my players. No matter what result you get, support the players, give them a pat on the shoulder, you know, tell them well done, tell them we support you, and that will give them strength to go to the next match. If not, you just knock them down.
Essentially every game is an away game for us, but we'd really like fans to get behind us, which you've just alluded to.
Yeah, every game is an away game for us. But if the fans cannot attend over there, for whatever reason, there's always means and ways to show their support for the team. So you know, that's all I'm asking. You know, these are semi-professional players against the top professionals of Europe. It's not easy, and it takes a pair of very big ones to go out there knowing that the world is watching you. And try to perform, and that's what these players have.
Looking forward to experience then.
Yeah, look, very, very much so.
Staying with football, but moving indoors to futsal, and Gibraltar Scorpions returned at the weekend from UEFA competition in Bosnia. The local league and cup champions had a tough time of it, as Richard found out from Scorpions official Donovan Gallia.
Well, Donovan, first of all, congratulations on doing a good piece of work for Gibraltar out in the Futsal Cup. Baptism of fire, massive eye-opener for you guys, and possibly even for Gibraltar Futsal in general. Getting their tough opponents in the first game, the English champions, but you ended with a draw against Malmo.
Yep, we started, like you rightfully said, a massive learning curve. First of our matches was against Baku, probably one of the best teams in the tournament at the moment, with players from that used to play for teams such as Barcelona, Inter Movistar. I mean, the list is endless. We did lose by quite a bit of a margin, 10-0. However, the effort from the guys were there. Technically, we just couldn't compare the professionalism, the professional players that they had to what we're used to. Again, the learning curve was tremendous. The second game against the host team, Sarajevo, we lost 7-4, but in all fairness, the game could have gone either way. Losing by 3, I think, was a bit unfair. But then, we managed to draw our last game against Malmo, the Swedes. Again, that match, I can say hand on heart, we should have won. But again, their tactics, they are professional players, they're used to being under pressure, and it showed. The last 3 or 4 minutes, they brought out their flying goalkeeper, and they knew exactly what they were doing. And they punished us. Again, the learning curve was there.
Now, unfortunately, you weren't in Sarajevo with the team. You were on holiday, I believe. But what was the feedback coming back from? Because obviously, after a 10-0 defeat in the first game, is in any circumstance, is not easy to bounce back from. But to come back into the second day and just lose by 3 goals, and like you said, a game that could have gone either way. What was the feedback coming back from Sarajevo after that first game?
I kept in contact with Carl, Aaron, and Angel on the internet, on WhatsApp, and on the phone, and with a few of the players. And it has to be said that it's all credit to them. They went over knowing exactly what they were getting themselves into, and the first game losing 10-0, they held their composure and they said, "Listen, this is a once in a lifetime experience. let's get our heads back into it. And in all fairness to them, I think they did, and in what a manner, because it just went, they kept going better and better and better as I mean, the results are there to prove this.
Now, we obviously know that a massive difference in standard, I guess you could call it, between Gibraltar futsal and obviously the rest of Europe, which is quite used to futsal, as opposed to Gibraltar, which is quite new to the sport. I wouldn't like to say how far behind, but how much of a difference is there in between Gibraltar's standard of the sport and what you've seen, or what the team has seen in Sarajevo, the Futsal Cup?
In all fairness to the team, I wouldn't put it down to standard. I'd put it down to experience. Testament to this is, if you check the UEFA standings now, the third top goal scorer of the qualifiers is one of our players. That's Popo. I mean, that in itself says something. Yes, we have a lot to learn, and again, experience proved vital to the other teams. But surely enough, we've only been in futsal for a year, and we can only get better from here.
And like yourself, looking ahead now to the season coming, not only futsal, obviously you'll be trying to regain your reigns and your titles indoors, but also an 11-a-side team as well for the new season.
Absolutely. We have a tough year ahead, both on and off the pitch. We've got our futsal, we've just started an 11-a-side team. We've got local players wishing to sign. We have an understanding with several clubs across the border, big clubs, that are giving us a few players, again, to boost our experience within our ranks. In the future, we're looking at kids football, we're looking at women's football. In the not too distant future, we would like to have a team in every category. Hopefully, give it 2 or 3 years, and everything should be up and running.
It has in general been a quiet month or so on the rock for sport. The Gibraltar Volleyball Association, however, added some sporting action this past weekend as they held their beach tournament on Sunday. The competition, which was postponed from earlier in the summer, got underway just after 11 and culminated with the finals in mid-afternoon. The men's competition was won by Jared Olivero and Ian Vinales, while Emma Labrador and Evelina Jamakovic took the ladies' title. After the event, Richard spoke to GVA President Emma Labrador about the competition and what's next on the cards for the association.
In the end, we had a good turnout. I think it was organised quite well, to be honest. The Sunrise Beach Bar provided us with lunch, and everyone was very happy with that. And I think the organisation was very good. We only had 6 teams in each category, 6 teams for men and 6 teams for women. And what we did is we set out into 2 groups, so that everyone played everyone in each group, and then we went on to the 2 semi-finals, the 5th and 6th, 3rd and 4th, and then on to the final. But in the end, I mean, due to the short notice, really, I think it was a successful turnout, really.
And obviously you just said a successful turnout considering the circumstances of the change of date, and not excellent weather in the end. Not as good as other years, but beach volleyball tends to be a very popular activity in Gibraltar every year.
Yes, it is. I mean, people always approach us, and they ask about it because they look forward to it. So I think it is quite popular. As you said, the weather was a bit better this week, and we had been keeping an eye out for the weather. So we did organise it at short notice, really. But because a few weeks back the weather was pretty awful, so we had to cancel it last minute. So I think because of that, maybe the turnout wasn't great. But having said that, I think it was a good event.
And finally, Emma, the summer's now slowly coming to a close. Maybe beach volleyball isn't the right form of the sport anymore, but what's looking ahead to the new season for you guys now?
We're arranging the AGM to take place in September, so that teams are registered by September and the fixtures are ready, so that we can get started in October. I'm also attending a European Congress in October, and later on in October, going into November, the International Congress. So that's pretty exciting because, all countries meet together, all presidents get together and meet, and, we talk about what our problems are, what problems we face, whether it's a financial problem or whether it's coaching, and we try and help each other out and give each other ideas. So I'm really looking forward to that, because that's usually, it's quite beneficial to us when we come back from that event.
That's all for part one. After the break, I'll be talking to former GSLA CEO Joe Hernandez, who spent over 40 years at the helm of local sports administration.